I feel phenomenal. I mean, cutting the weight is hard, but it was something I needed to do at that point in my career. Now I'm at a point where I don't have to do it anymore. You know, it's well documented why I went to 205. That roadblock has been out for a while. Kane's not the champ, so I was able to fight for the belt. I won it. Now I'm just enjoying myself as we keep rolling.
DC, you tweeted yesterday about all the media you've been doing.
Yeah.
16 hours?
Yeah, I've been busy. Yeah.
Most you've done? No.
So I've been doing a lot because in New York City, there's everything everywhere. So whereas I normally would be on the phone a lot, now I've been having to drive all over the city to go in places. It's been fine. It's fine. It's just long when you have to be on the whole time. You know, you can't show up and give shit interviews, you know, so it's just being on for 16 hours on top of training. I sparred 5 rounds on Monday, sparred 4 rounds yesterday. I mean, I'm still working, so it's been a little bit tough.
So most you've done in person on fight week?
Most in person, yeah. Usually I'll do an 8-hour day on Monday and be done, but
right.
New York City is a whole different beast, and a lot of people are interested, so I'm blessed.
Now that you're here at the Garden, you had said that a few weeks ago when they said, hey, headline MSG, that's a big deal. Being in this building, what does that feel like?
It's crazy. I just remember being here back in 2003 for the World Championships and being in the locker room and walking out to this floor to compete almost 2 years to the day after 9/11. And just walking out, and every time we emerged from that tunnel, just USA, USA, and having that pride to represent our country was just an amazing thing. To be back as a competitor now, it's truly amazing. I mean, even my coaches, you know, walking into Madison Square, seeing the Knicks logo, it's different. We've been everywhere, right? We've been everywhere together as a team. And even them, they were kind of like, wow, it's MSG, you know?
You're not a big Knicks guy.
No, I'm a Rockets guy, but it's fine. I like the Warriors a little bit more now because I got to know Draymond Green, so it's cool.
That's what you and Derrick have in common. He's a Houston guy too.
Yeah, but Derrick said some crazy stuff, man. Derrick said, I was told today that Derrick said he left New Orleans at 15 or something, and when he left the Saints, so he doesn't care for the Saints. So he gets a little bit extra for that on Saturday.
Who is Louisiana rooting for on Saturday? Both of you guys are born there, right?
Louisiana loves Daniel Cormier. The state's ready to explode. On Saturday night, right before I enter the Octagon, LSU will complete their rise, improbable, under the great Ed Orgeron, and beat Alabama and become #1 in the rankings. Then I will come here and defend my heavyweight title. And then on Sunday, the Saints will beat the Rams and become the #1 seed in the NFC. So big Louisiana weekend, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. But Louisiana's rooting for DC.
Derrick Lewis was out here earlier. He has a little bit of a theory as to why you're fighting him right now in November. He said that you're scared to fight Jon Jones, and he thinks that this is an easier fight for you. Do you believe that it's an easier fight for you, and that's why you're taking this fight now instead of fighting Jon Jones later on in the year or next year?
I was never offered the fight against Jon Jones. Nobody told me to fight Jon Jones. I think Derrick has said it himself openly that some of the things you take with a grain of salt, some of the things you believe what he's saying. He's just bullshitting on that one.
How many things do you believe that he says? Because he does say a lot of things. Like when he says he trains 30 minutes.
Don't
a day,
believe
now
it.
He's training more.
I believe he trains harder than that, right? I believe that he is not nearly as hurt as he pretends to be when he's against the side of the Octagon. Derrick's a little smarter than you guys think, but the problem is he's smart in a way that you learn when you grow up in urban areas, right? He's kind of got a little more street smarts, but I grew up in those same places. I can see right through his facade. He's not a dummy. This guy knows what he's doing. He's trying to trick us all, but don't think that Derrick Lewis is some ignorant guy. This is a guy that went to jail as a youth. And honestly, when you go to prison as a kid, especially a young black kid, a lot of people give up on you. And in that cell, you tell yourself a lot of things. You say, I'm going to do better when I get out. I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that. And the vast majority of them, of the guys that do say those things, they never change. They go back and do the same thing. Derrick Lewis didn't. right? Derrick Lewis became a millionaire. Derrick Lewis is fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world. There's something different about him, and that's why I know what's in front of me this weekend. So let him try to trick you guys, but pay very close attention to who he really is. He's a smart guy, and he ain't tricking me.
He doesn't talk too much about his past and being in jail and stuff. But it seems like you know quite a bit about his background and stuff.
I know everything about everybody that I fight. I learn. I research them. They become my focus. They become my life for the time that I'm training for them. I know everything about Derrick. And when learning about Derrick Lewis, I didn't think, oh, this is going to be an easier fight. All it made me believe was that it was going to be tougher than people or the general public may believe. All it made me understand was that him knocking out Alexander Volkov wasn't the exception. It was his expectation, because he has fought from the very pits of hell, and he scraped his way back up to who he is today. So him winning a fight with 15 seconds left, that doesn't surprise me. This guy won the biggest fight in the world by doing and changing his life path and changing his family's life path. Yeah, I know a lot about Derrick Lewis. I owe that to myself, and I owe that to him in order to prepare myself best for him.
Probably you're almost a fan of him now after doing that research on him and knowing more about him.
I'm a fan of his story. Yes, I love the way he fights. I think he's great. I'm a normal guy. I love his Instagram. I think it's hilarious. But I love Dan Henderson. Like I've been watching Dan Henderson since I was a kid, aspiring to be him in the Olympics, and look at what I did to him. So I'm gonna go and try to rip Derrick Lewis apart. There are levels to this fight game. I've said this before, and I've shown that I've competed at a level above most people for a really long time.
He pushed his past two opponents, Ngannou and Volkov, at weigh-ins. Are you expecting him to do that to you on Friday?
No. No, I don't think he'll do that. It's different. I'm serious. It's different. It's different when you're in front of a person, right? You hear the stories of the Anderson Silvas and the Jon Joneses and the Daniel Cormiers and those guys. You can expect something when you expect the interaction to be one way, but you're in front of him, it's much different. And I don't anticipate him doing that, because when he stands and he looks at me, it's different. And he'll understand and respect all that I am and what I've accomplished. He has to. And if he pushes me, then that's fine. Go ahead. Still won't change the fact that you have to get locked into an octagon the very next night. And I'm not going to stand and take pictures with you like some of these other dudes. I'm going to get in your face and make you fight.
Brock is coming on Saturday?
I heard he's coming on Saturday, yeah. I mean, maybe Brock's like looking after his investment. Maybe he's looking after his investment, hoping maybe I win the fight, or here to pick a new fight if Derrick Lewis is to beat me.
Would you welcome him back into the Octagon?
This time I will advise him to stay out of the Octagon, because last time he pushed me across the cage, and I hate that visual. I hate that that's the visual that's going to be shown in the build-up to our fight. This time I will buckle my heels into the mat, and I will be ready to push him or smack him upside his head.
Given what happened last month, though, do you feel that maybe that wouldn't be the best idea?
No, it's okay. We're fighters. He'll be fine.
Daniel, a question people have been asking themselves in the build-up to this is, how is your hand? Is it 100%? Because not too long ago it didn't seem that was the case.
So I was doing rehab on my hand when they called me about fights, and I was like, well, I'm just kind of starting my rehab. Give me a little bit of time to build into this, see how it reacts. You know, you don't start hitting people hard until you have to, right? So during the rehab, I kind of anticipated that my hand was still messed up, because every time they would squeeze and they would grind on it, I'm like, this still hurts. But it was all the scar tissue. But the moment I got the fight and I started punching, it was fine. So, yeah, it's great. I feel good.
So did they offer you a fight to fight on this card earlier?
They did. They asked me, would you be interested? I said, well, I'm just starting my rehab. I said, give me some time. Let me see what happens. And who am I going to fight? They never said anybody. Well, we don't know yet. They said, well, we don't know yet. We don't know who you would fight. So this whole idea that it was Stipe and I said no to Stipe is crazy. I beat him in 4 minutes. And I mean, honestly, like, I would fight Stipe Miocic any day of the week. Wasn't the hardest fight. I don't understand where this idea that it was the hardest fight I had. It wasn't the hardest fight. Like, it was, he hit me sometimes, but I mean, just look at him. You know, we were just getting started, and the jab was eating him up. His face was so red. It's like we had fought for 25 minutes. I mean, we fought for 5 minutes. I was just getting going. I would fight Stipe all the time. I have a lot of respect for Stipe. This new person that he's acting like is kind of a put off a little bit.
Didn't you say previously, though, that you respect him so much that you would want to put a full
In 3
training
weeks,
camp?
yes, I would want a full training camp. But if I was okay 7-8 weeks ago, I would have fought him. But when I said, let me see how my rehab goes, they didn't tell me it was Stipe, right? They never said it's you versus Stipe in the rematch in Madison Square Garden in 8 weeks. I would have said, okay, let me go see how it works. They just said, we don't know who you're fighting. And plus, I think at that point, there were still options as to who would main event this thing, so they went away from it, thinking that maybe he isn't ready. It was never me. It was never me saying no to any of these guys. When have I ever done that? I mean, I fought everybody at every turn. I fought Rumble, Jones, and Gustafson all in 1 year, right? Then I fought Anderson Silva on 2 days. And then I fought Rumble again after he had just put the share out in 15 seconds. And Volkan Ozdemir looked like he was the man. I fought him, even though there was so much to lose and not much to gain. And then when Jones came from a suspension, what did I do? I fought him. And then they said, fight Stipe Miocic. I said, okay. It's like I never turn away fights. I fight everybody. And right now, the idea that Derrick Lewis is undeserving is so unfair to him. Because in July, he beat the #1 contender. In September or October, he beat the #3 contender. If you're #2 and you beat 1 and you beat 3, what does that normally make you? The #1 contender for the title. He belongs here. So I know what's in front of me. I am very aware of what's in front of me.
What fight do you think sells better? Do you think this fight sells better than a Stipe rematch would have?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, Stipe and I fought in the middle of July. There was no football, there was no college football, no NFL. I don't know what sport's even going on in the summer. Just baseball? Is it just baseball? That was one of those times where you would think the buys would really skyrocket, right? And it did okay. I'm not saying it did shit. It did okay. But right now, Derrick and I are going to fight on Saturday night, and I just told you LSU Alabama's playing. And there are big games on Saturday, so hopefully people will tune in because it's going to be a fantastic fight. But I don't know. Derrick Lewis has gained this type of following that's hard to truly explain. But I've been a fan, so I can understand people being drawn to him.
If Derrick didn't have that last question beach after his last fight, do you think he gets this opportunity?
No. I think Derrick Lewis won over a lot of people standing in the middle of the octagon in his underwear, talking about his balls being hot. Because I was amused. I was in the arena amused as a spectator, not as a person that was going to fight him. But I think that when your Instagram followers jump from 300,000 to 1.4 million overnight, it's important, man. That's why people say it's important to understand the stage that you're on. He was on the biggest stage in mixed martial arts history, and he took notice, and he made the most of his moment, and he got this title fight. He does deserve it. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.